Hello and welcome back to my stamp studio. So today I'm here with another Class to Go card kit. This kit, I'm bundling the Triangle stamp set from page 22 of the Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog and its coordinating dies, the stitched triangle dies from page 179 of Stampin' Up's main catalog. Now, the stitched triangle dies and triangle stamp set are not an official Stampin' Up! Bundle. There is another stamp set that Stampin' Up! Bundles with these dies, and that's the right triangle stamp set on page 35 of the main catalog. Okay, so as you know, Stampin' Up! Bundles stamp sets and dies and gives you a 10% discount. While Stampin' Up! Is not bundling the triangle stamp set with its dies, for the purposes of my Class to Go card kit, I'm bundling the triangle stamp set and stitched triangle dies and offering a 10% discount when you get my Class to Go card kit. Now, regularly priced, these products individually would be $52. My special 10% discounted bundle price will be $46.75, which saves you $5.25. So a pretty good deal whenever you can bundle. So first let's talk a little bit about the stamp set. It is a 15 photopolymer stamp set, and it has all of these great tree images in it. Very modern, contemporary looking trees. And then you have a cute little poinsettia tree over here that coordinates with some leaves, like a two-step stamping process to give you a beautiful little poinsettia tree. There's a wood grain trunk for your trees, a star, and then these cute little ornaments up here that are hanging by a string. The sentiments in this stamp set are Christmas is best when we're together, greetings, happy wishes to you and yours, merry, joy and cheer from all of us. So some nice little sentiments with this stamp set. Now the dies. So the dies do not actually bundle through Stampin' Up! With the stamp set, so I usually don't keep them in the case together. So these are separate. And then I usually do a little cutout of what's inside, so that way I know that the stitch triangle dies are in this case. And let's go ahead and open these up. And you'll see that it kind of takes you back a little bit to high school geometry with all these different triangles. So I believe there is a right angle triangle. Is it isosceles triangle, and then the equilateral triangle, I think, are all represented in this die set. And then in addition to that, you receive a fun little border die here that would serve as a great little edge on a card, but it also has this cute little cutout, and all these little individual triangles pop out, and you could make some confetti or make something for the inside of your shaker card. It's just a fun little extra to be able to use with that die. And in the same manner, this die here is another cutout that gives you fun little triangles to do that same thing with. You also get this cute little pennant die. Okay, so you get some fun little coordinating other dies besides the geometrical triangle dies as well. Okay? All right, so let me show you the cards that I have that are going to be included in this Class to Go card kit. There's one, and then there's another. As you can see, they're very different. I try to show a little bit different look with each of my Class to Go card kits just to show the versatility of the bundle for the class. So if you're wondering how you can get my Class to Go card kit for free and maybe what's included. So you simply need to purchase my discounted bundle of the triangle stamp set and stitched triangle dies from me at my special 10% discounted bundle price of $46.75. No other purchase is necessary. With the purchase of the bundle, you will receive my free Class to Go card kit, which includes supplies needed to create 4 cards with envelopes. So 2 of each of these designs here. You will receive enough pre-cut, scored cardstock and papers, embellishments, ribbons, envelopes to complete the kit cards. Now, because everyone has a little different stamp stashes, you may not have some of the products I'm using in these kit cards. So I offer many additional products in what I call an add-on list. You can receive a 10% discount on these add-on items with the purchase of my already discounted bundling of the triangle stamp set and the stitched triangle dies for this Class to Go card kit. I will do my best to mention these add-on items in my video today, but they are also listed with this post. It's important to point out here the 10% discount for these add-on items and my bundling of the triangle stamp set and stitched triangle dies can only be given if you send me your order. I must place this order for you. It's the only way I can give you the discount. Okay? I do need to charge a $4 postage fee, which covers my mailing of the card kit to you. Your Stampin' Up! Products will be shipped directly to you from Stampin' Up! Once you have all your stamping supplies, you're ready to simply sit and stamp with this video as your guide. The kit does all the creativity for you, and you get to stamp in the comfort and, more importantly, safety of your home. Contact me via email or message me on Facebook when you're ready to place your order. You will find all these details in this post along with the ordering dates, but please let me know if you have any questions. Okay? So let's get to stamping. So I think I'm going to start out with this one today. This one's a little bit more muted holiday colors. So when you receive your card kit, you would receive supplies that look like this in addition to a very vanilla envelope. Okay? Your card base is crumb cake, and it measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. So you'll want to give yourself a nice crisp fold on that score line. You will receive 3 larger pieces here of very vanilla. 2 of them measure, I want to make sure I tell you the right measurements here, 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay? One of these is intended to go on the inside. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal here and just attach that. And you'll notice that you have a little more spacing on the sides than the top and bottom. Surely there's a sentiment in this set that I could have added on the inside too. So obviously you will have the stamp set and have all those greetings that you'll be able to add one on the inside. We are putting a sentiment on the outside though. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal. Sometimes I get in a little bit of a hurry with my Class to Go card kits and I forget to stamp the insides, but there's always something to stamp on the inside. And these, fortunately, these stamp sets all come with some great sentiments, so you have a lot to pick and choose from. Okay, that one's going to get layered just like that. You're going to have a little bit smaller piece of very vanilla, and I did take this and run it through the Dainty 3D embossing folder, okay? I think this originally came out with the Peony Garden Suite. I just love this for the holidays, and I love both sides, so sometimes I have a hard time deciding which side I want to use here. I'm not sure, well there, the camera kind of picks it up a little bit better that way, okay? So this folder would be an additional add-on item at 10% off for this class, okay? Now my sample card I think used this side. I think I'm going to make another one and use this side, okay? This is going to get put up on some dimensionals. So I'm going to take and place 4 dimensionals, 1 in each corner here. And then that piece is going to get layered right here. So remember with your embossing folders, you know, you have 2 sides. And so change it up a little bit. It can make a card look completely different. In addition, in your kit, you're going to have a long strip of very vanilla, which is going to be our stamping piece. You're going to also have a small sentiment strip here, sorry, and then you're going to have a square of petal pink, okay? So let's start with that petal pink piece. One of the add-on items I'm going to have with this class are the stitched shaped dies. And as I have said, I think recently even, this die set is a must. I have been going to this and using this for a lot of cards. So it actually is squares, ovals, and circles, and they all have that cute little stitched look around the edge of them, which coordinates beautifully with our stitched triangle dies. So this I am putting on as an add-on item, 10% discount with this class. So with this and the triangle bundle, you would be set with any shape die that you could possibly need. With our petal pink piece, I am going to use the largest circle stitched die to be able to cut that out, okay? And what you would end up with is this piece here, okay? I've already done that for the sake of time. Now, our sentiment strip, I went ahead and I used Misty Moonlight ink, and I stamped the words joy and cheer on it. And remember that with any ink Stampin' Up! Classic ink pad, you can turn it into an embossing color, powder color, by throwing clear embossing powder over it. So that's what I did. I went ahead and stamped the greeting in Misty Moonlight, threw some clear embossing powder over the top of it, and heated it. And then I have layered it on a piece of our copper brushed metallic paper. Okay? So we have our sentiment strip all done. Now we get the fun part to stamp our trees. Okay? So that's when this piece comes into play here. I'm going to take, since I have Misty Moonlight out, I'm going to go ahead, open that one up. And there are two larger triangle stamps that coordinate. One has the dashed lines on it, and the other one has the stars on it. And it really does not matter which one you start with for this. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so I always suggest that you use the little black foam mat. This actually is an accessory that goes with the Stamparatus. And I think this works beautifully with photopolymer sets. I think it's really cheap. It's like $3.50. And I try to add that on as an add-on item to my photopolymer bundles and Class to Go card kits. So remember that it has the Stampin' Up! Logo down here, which I love, but can sometimes interfere with your stamping. So typically I will take it and flip it over to use it. And I'll place that underneath my piece of Very Vanilla here. And then continue to ink up my triangle stamp. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that up here at the top of my Very Vanilla piece. And then quickly, because I don't want that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. I got to bring this towards me because I have to be directly over the top of it to get these two to line up. And then quickly, I'm going to take my clear embossing powder, pour over the top of that, and it will stick, okay? And then you would take your heat gun, and you would go ahead and you would heat that. One of the other trees that comes in this set is this image here. Now, my stamp has a little bit of a pink tint to it. I obviously have been using some red ink stamping these, and so it does stain the photopolymer stamps a little bit. It, however, does not interfere in any way with how they perform, okay? So don't let that make you nervous. You just kind of wash it off just like with the water, just like you always would, but it does leave a little bit of that red stain on there. All right, now I have soft suede. I'm going to take that and ink it up. And again, I'm going to stamp it on the lower part of my strip here, giving that paper a chance to really soak up that ink. Don't rush it. And then go ahead and pull in my clear embossing powder, tap off the extra, and then again we could heat emboss that, okay? Now let's make one of those cute little poinsettia trees. I'm pulling in my pear pizzazz and my flirty flamingo. The little stamped image, I obviously have done this in red too, so it has stained my photopolymer stamp. But this image, actually, it's interesting. You can turn it actually all three ways. I feel like there is one right way, though. There seems to be one poinsettia that points out a little bit more, which I think is supposed to be the top of your tree. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink that up in the Flirty Flamingo. Place that over here. And again, I want to work kind of quickly because I don't want that ink to dry. So I'm ready with my pear pizzazz and that coordinating leaf stamp that I talked about. Let me pull this right over the top so I can see to line this up. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right in there. And you can see how those leaves coordinate beautifully with those poinsettias. Go ahead and pour some clear embossing powder over the top of that. Obviously, the clear embossing powder will be an add-on item to this class, okay? In addition to all these ink pads, Flirty Flamingo, Pear Pizzazz, Misty Moonlight, and Soft Suede, along with their re-inkers. Okay, so if you already have the ink pads and get the class to go, it's kind of nice. You can add on even the refills if you need those, okay? So here we're set with our strip here. I would take a heat tool and go ahead and heat that embossing powder up over the top of it. And just to show you how, I hope, well, the camera doesn't really show that very well, does it? But it really makes those so much more vibrant. It just brings those colors to life there, okay? Now, these all coordinate beautifully with the triangle dies, okay? So let me pull out so you can see. For the blue one at the top, if you count from the inside out on these nesting dies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, it will be number 3, okay? That's going to coordinate with that one. Now, the little poinsettia tree is going to coordinate with 1, 2, 3, number 3 die. And then this one is just a little bit different triangle shape. It's one of these here. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dies again you get. But you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one to coordinate with that one. Okay? I hope that helps. I hope that helps make sense a little bit of what dies you need to use to cut those out. Now, obviously, you could take scissors and you could cut these out. They're very easy, straight edge, even your paper cutter probably. But what you wouldn't get is this cute little stitched edge that these dies provide. And I think that really adds a lot to this card, okay? So once you ran those through your die cutting machine, you would have these, okay? Now, I neglected to mention on your little very vanilla strip that you stamped on, you need to stamp that little wood grain trunk 3 times, somewhere along the edge here, okay? And again, I stamped it in soft suede, and I put clear embossing powder over the top of it, heated it up, and then I had to fussy cut, which are nice straight edge cuts here, and then leave yourself a little bit of extra paper on one end of those trunks, okay? I don't know if you can see. I'll pull it up a little bit there. I left a little bit of extra very vanilla at the top, and that's what you're going to use to attach it to the trees, okay? All right, so these are the pieces. Let's bring our card back in here and continue to build. I'm first going to take my pale pink stitched circle, and with all the stuff being stitched, it just looks beautiful together. I'm going to place this over here kind of towards the left hand side of my card, Okay, now I want to attach all these little trunks. And the easiest way to do that, I think, is with your mono multi-purpose glue here. Put just a little bit on there. Go ahead and center that. And it's up to you whether you want to leave a little bit of that very vanilla cardstock or if you just want to butt the bottom of your tree up right against that trunk. It's up to you. Now, my sample card, just so while I do the rest of this, I actually did leave a little bit of very vanilla showing on some of those. So this one I'm not going to, and then you can kind of see which one you like. The biggest trick will be to get your trunk kind of centered there, okay? And you don't need very much glue because you don't want any ooping out back behind. That's a technical stamping term there, ooping out. Go ahead and just kind of press and hold that. This glue actually holds very well. Okay. Now for our sample, to finish our card here, I'll move the sample card out of the way. I'm going to go ahead on the back of this soft suede tree and just put a little bit more of that monoadhesive. Not very much, just a little bit there. And I'm going to attach this guy over here kind of towards the right of my pale pink stitched circle. The next one I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight tree and again put just a little, I'm going very light with that on the back side of that. And this one gets put up just a little bit higher. The bottom of it's just a little bit higher than the soft suede tree there. And then our last little poinsettia tree, I'm going to grab one regular size dimensional, and then I'm also going to grab one of our mini dimensionals to put down here on the stump, okay? Trunk, I guess I should call it, not stump. Go ahead, and then this one is going to get placed just kind of in between those two, in both directions. In between them up and down, and in between them side to side, just like that, okay? Isn't that adorable? Oh, so cute. Now, this joy and cheer, we can go ahead and attach 2 dimensionals on the back side of that. And then I still thought, as cute as this is, it looked a little plain, and even though I had this pretty metallic paper on here, I still thought it needed something else. So I remembered that Stampin' Up! Carried over from last year these beautiful star elements. And they come in this beautiful copper color, which I thought looked beautiful with that copper paper behind our sentiment. You get a pack of 40, and again, this would be an additional add-on item to this class. But you would receive 3 in your kit. Actually, you'd receive 6, enough for 2 cards. These are a little bit trickier, or can be, to pick up with your paper piercer. You see me struggling over here a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and pick that one up. They're big enough that you can do that. Let's see if I can get a hold of this one. There, I got a hold of that one. I just don't think I had enough gummy out on the end of my pick-a-tool here. And there's another one for the top. I think that just finishes this card off beautifully. All right. So there you go. There is the first card to my Triangle Plastico card kit. Okay? Really pretty. And then the envelope, I did take that cute little poinsettia tree and I just stamped it down in the corner with the stump. Again, I did some clear embossing powder over the top of that to make that pop. Okay? All right, so that's the first card in this class. Now the second card, I didn't really show too much, but I want to show the sample card once here just to show you. I did go ahead and I stamped those trees along the bottom in real red ink and threw clear embossing powder over the top of that. heated it up. And then this turned into kind of a fun fold card. So I immediately, when I played with this set, I thought of this card design. I really wanted to use it, and I hope it's going to show off here, but it's kind of a little bit of a standout here. So the card base is a single piece of real red cardstock. There's a piece of Whisper White in the center, but then there's this cute little fold out here that is only actually half, and then these little trees pop up over the top of it. So anyone that receives this tree, or this card, I'm sorry, would love to have this on display. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I loved it in the real red and Whisper White color combination, okay? But I also made one with Stampin' Up's greens. This one has real red, cherry cobbler, and poppy. So to mix 3 reds in there, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, it really is stunning. And so I got to thinking, wouldn't it be fun to mix them up and do the greens that Stampin' Up offers, okay? So you'll receive supplies to make 1 real red card, but then you will also receive supplies to make 1 garden green card, okay? So the greens that I chose are Granny Apple Green, Mossy Meadow, and Just Jade, okay? These greens are so pretty together, okay? So your card kit, when it arrives, will look a little different, okay? It will have supplies that look like this, and your card base is just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, okay? That measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, okay? You'll also have a piece of Very Vanilla, which measures 4 by 5. Then you'll have a strip of Garden Green, which measures 2 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then it is scored at one end at 1/2 inch. Now, when I send my kits out, I will try to remember to do an angle cut here. But if I don't, I want to talk about it here so that you will do it when you make your cards. I simply took my paper snips and I cut a little angle from the scored line in to the edge on that 1/2 inch flap. And I did that on both sides. For those of you who paper craft a lot, you know that when I layer that underneath, it just helps things lay a little nicer. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and on this Very Vanilla piece, I want this flap to wrap around that. Okay, so I only want adhesive to go on this section of the flap. Okay, so I'm going to pull in my multi-purpose glue here. I'm going to put just a little bit, it doesn't take a lot. Remember, this glue is very strong, and you don't want a bunch kind of ooping out over the sides, okay? And then I'm going to take that, and the most important thing is to have the edge of your Very Vanilla piece match up with that score line, and then quickly go ahead and tap it so that your bottom Very Vanilla and your bottom Garden Green piece are flush, okay? They match up down there. And once you know that that has occurred, flip it over and really give that flap a nice rub, okay? Just so that you know it sticks. Now I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to go along here and flip this. Give myself some nice adhesive all around the perimeter here. Bring in my piece of Garden Green or Real Red. I mean, obviously, like I said, you're going to have pieces to create both colors, which I thought was really fun to do, different with this kit. And this piece is going to get laid so that It's a nice little 1/4 inch edge all the way around, but again, you want it to be flush down here at the bottom, okay? And why you want that is that when your card goes to stand, it will stand nice, okay? And I know that's hard to see on camera there, but you really want this card to be able to be displayed beautifully so all your little trees really show, okay? And to give it that nice flush edge down there, you'll achieve that, all right? Also in your kit, there'll be another piece of Very Vanilla that measures 2 by 4 3/4. And I have already taken that and run that through an embossing folder. I thought that that really added a lot to this card. On the garden green card, I ran it through one of the wrapped in textured combo pack embossing folders. It was the little dot one. And then on the real red card style that we're making, I ran it through the other little textured, almost kind of a basket weave one. So I thought this was a nice little folder since we're making 2 different colored cards. It was a nice way to kind of showcase both of these. I have used both of these folders multiple times in both Class to Go card kits and just in general making Christmas cards. So I think this little combo pack of embossing folders is beautiful. I would add this as an add-on item at 10% off to this class, okay? So it's a nice way to pick those up if you don't already have them. So that piece, I put some dimensionals on the back side here. And we'll go ahead and remove our sticker from those and lay that right here on our little garden green strip. Okay, just like that. Okay. All right, there will also be a piece of gold brushed metallic cardstock in your kit, and that gets applied next. In the real red card kit, it will be silver. I thought silver looked so pretty with the real red and whisper white. The gold goes so much better here with the Very Vanilla and the garden green color combo. Now I'm going to hold a little pressure on that because laying over this textured embossing folder, it will take just a little bit for that to stick. So I'm just kind of rubbing it gently to make sure that it holds. Oh, I don't think I got enough sticky on that. Let's put a little bit more glue on it. And that just gets centered, top to bottom. Okay? All right. Well, that's drying. I think I'm going to place it over here. I'm going to go ahead and just put my stamp and seal on it just to kind of give it a little pressure and have it dry there. You will also receive 3 Very Vanilla strips in your kit. And each of these is going to be intended to stamp 2 of the trees from the stamp set in the 3 greens, Granny Apple Green, Mossy Meadow, and Just Jade colors here, okay? And I've already done that for the Mossy Meadow and the Just Jade. I'm going to go ahead and stamp, of course, Granny Apple Green, because it's one of my favorite greens, for you here. I did go ahead and take my eye block, my little bit larger block, and I went ahead and I mounted both of those stamps onto it. It just makes it a little bit easier sometimes when you're stamping something in the same color to just attach it to one block to be able to stamp it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just lay that down. You can see that the Very Vanilla piece is just about the same size as my block, so it will, these stamps will fit on here perfectly. Again, they're photopolymer stamps, so you should be stamping on some little surface that's soft. These little black mats from the Stamparatus work perfectly for that. Just gives that extra little push. Now remember, photopolymer is sticky, so your paper may stick, but just gently take it and peel it right off, okay? And then quickly, we're going to pull in that clear embossing powder and go ahead and drop some of that down over these. And I'm telling you, I don't think the camera picks this up, but embossing these clear in all 3 of these greens or any color, it just brings those colors to life and makes them so much more vibrant and beautiful for this card. So clear embossing powder would be an additional add-on item to this class, along with the heat tool, and also along with these 3 color inks, greens, okay? So this class has a lot of ink pads and refills, so if you don't have them, it'd be a great way to pick them up. So obviously then I would take my heat tool and I would heat all those up. Those I've already done. And then there are triangle dies that coordinate it would be this one here that coordinates with those at the bottom. And then for the smaller trees, it would be, if you're counting from the inside out, 1, 2, 3. So it would be tree dies 3 and 4 that you would use to punch all of these out. Okay? Once you've done that, you end up with these. Just beautiful, right? There's also a little black strip, sentiment strip in your kit, and that I used the Happy Wishes to You and Yours sentiment, and I went ahead and did some Versamark ink and then threw some white embossing powder down over that because I thought it just popped beautifully on there. And so both of those items, Versamark and Whisper White embossing powder, would be included as add-on items in this class. So I went ahead and I did that to save some time. Now, let's pull in our card. I'm sure that our gold layer is dry by now. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to build our trees here, okay? So you want to kind of stagger these colors a little bit as you lay them on here. And the other thing you want to keep in mind is, remember, I'll bring my Real Red sample back in, the trees from the top part are not attached to the card in any way. So you don't want any adhesive up on the top parts of these trees, okay? You just want them down here on the bottom, okay? So as you're going to do this, I would first just kind of lay these out in their order of how you kind of want them. And I basically just took the larger green trees and I matched them up with the edge of your vanilla and your copper piece there. So all 3 of those go like that. And then just kind of stagger or alternate your colors here just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the garden green one there because this is Just Jade and Granny Apple Green. So that gives all 3 colors there. Now this is Granny Apple and Garden Green. So I'm going to use the Just Jade one here to give all 3 colors there. And then I'm going to save my little Granny Apple Green one for down here, okay? Down here in the front. You can see how the Real Red one has just a little bit different down there, okay? So let's go ahead and attach those. Now that we know how we want them, I'm going to attach the Just Jade one over here. Remember, I'm only going to put glue down there towards the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and have the edge of that right corner tree line up with the top of that gold metallic strip. Okay. Again, you have to give it just a little bit of time. It's sticking over texture of that embossing folder. I'm going to go ahead and attach this one next over here to the far left. This is the Mossy Meadow one. And then my Granny Apple Green one is going to go in the center. And I think you can just space them a little bit better if you do the side ones first and then lay that middle one in. Again, I just keep pressing them to get them to stick. I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow one next, just putting a little bit of adhesive on the bottom. And that one's going to get centered between the 2 taller trees, but then lined up along the bottom edge of my gold metallic strip. The Just Jade one is going to get a little bit of adhesive, again centered between the 2 taller trees and lined up along the bottom edge of the gold. Now we're ready for our last little tree. And this one also gets stuck down with multi-purpose glue. This one you can be a little more generous and work your way up a little bit more with the glue because it's actually not going to go out and above our little layered pop-out piece here, okay? Now, you're probably wondering, oh, why didn't I pop that up on dimensionals? So your greeting actually gets popped up on dimensionals, okay? And it's kind of a narrow sentiment strip. So I'm going to pull in some mini dimensionals. And I might even use a third one here in the middle. Okay, just like that. And then to kind of help cover that edge there where those trees meet that gold strip, I thought it was kind of nice. That's just kind of where the sentiment strip goes. Okay. Okay, just like that. Okay. Now, I thought this still needed a little bit something something, so I pulled in our metallic edge ribbon. And I just wanted to point out that it comes in whisper white with a silver metallic edge, and you'll receive a piece of that for your real red card. And then it also comes in very vanilla and gold, which obviously is perfect for the colors that we're using on our garden green and gold metallic card here. Okay, so you'll receive a small little piece of that all I did was just take and tie into a rough little knot here. Go ahead and take your paper snips and trim off the edges. I think I want to do just a little bit more even on this side here. And then the glue dots will be your friends for this. And that's just going to get placed right below that gold strip there. And I just thought that added so much to this card, okay? Now, my real red sample card has some rhinestones here at the top that are silver. And I just didn't think that that looked nice with the green and the gold. And so, just a second. I forgot to get out my gilded gems. These are gold gilded gems that come in a pack of 90, I think. Yep, you get a pack of 90. There's 3 different sizes here, large, medium, and small. So this would be an additional add-on item to this class. And so I'm going to take my paper piercer tool here, and I'm just going to pull these smaller ones in and put them right at the top, one for each of the trees. And I think this just finishes this card off beautifully. It also helps the tips of these trees kind of pop out a little more. They don't blend in so much with that background inside piece. Okay. So you would receive 6 of these in your kit and 6 of the rhinestones for the red card. Okay. I just love the silver with the red and the gold with the garden green. I just think that looks beautiful. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to mention is if you wanted to place a sentiment on the inside of this card, you certainly could. You need to make sure that it's placed a little bit lower in your card, or maybe more towards the center so that it's behind our trees. So if you want to stamp something, it would be down here a little bit lower. Or you could even add another piece of cardstock here and stamp something here too and be able to write your message over here. But I think the prettiness and the display part of this card is really pretty because it's just so plain back behind there. So I hope this is showing off. It's so hard to show this on camera here, but it's a beautiful show display card. So you'll receive a whisper white envelope, and like I said, I went ahead and stamped the trees at the bottom edge of that one. You'll get a very vanilla envelope in your kit. to go with that one. I don't know which one is my favorite here. I think I probably lean a little more towards the greens. I do love green. And then here is the other card that we made for this kit. So I hope, as I previously shared, I just wanted to say with the pandemic, it again would be irresponsible for me to hold in-person classes, but I still want to give all of you a chance to create handmade cards. So I am offering additional to-go packets of these cards with the purchase of the bundle. You'd receive 6 cards in each packet for $12. And it's just a nice way to be able to have plenty of cards to be able to send out, which is really the way to go with the holidays this year. Please consider staying home and being responsible citizens with the upcoming holidays. I know it's hard, but the sacrifices we make now will allow us to be together in the future. I keep saying that. It's my go-to saying lately. I think I said it in another video too, so you can't hear it enough in my opinion. So the to-go packets would basically have the supplies that are in my Class to Go card kit, all the papers, card stocks, embellishments, ribbons, and envelopes to create 6 cards for $12. I will deliver locally, would need to charge an additional postage for those that live outside the Iowa City area. So it's really nice to virtually stamp with you today. I hope you enjoyed seeing this fun little tree set in action with the stitched triangle dies, and I hope you'll consider picking it up. As always, I am missing stamping with all of you in person, especially for this holiday season. But please be responsible, keep yourself safe by staying home as much as possible, and wear a mask when you must go out for essential reasons. So important in keeping not only yourself healthy, but those around you. In the meanwhile, please don't hesitate to connect with me and for any of your stamping holiday needs, okay? Take care.